So yesterday evening, the 14th of June, at around 8:55 p.m, we, Surrey Police, received reports that a cow was running loose in Staines upon Thames. The cow was running loose throughout the evening on a number of main roads, and during this time we received numerous calls from the public reporting a car being damaged and it running at members of the public. Given these reports, officers were extremely concerned about the public's safety and over a period of a number of hours tried a number of options to safely capture the cow. Unfortunately, these were unsuccessful, and the decision was made to stop it using a police car. The matter has been referred to our Professional Standards Department. The Independent Office for Police Conduct has been notified, and a voluntary referral will be made in due course. With support from a member of the public, the cow was moved to a nearby farm in the early hours of this morning, which is this morning, the 15th of June. The owner has been located, and the cow's injuries have been assessed by a vet. The cow sustained a large cut to its leg, and the vet is overseeing its continued treatment and recovery. The Chief Inspector said, "I know that this has caused distress, and I'd like to thank the community for their concern. The decision to use the police car is one that was only taken after other methods to stop the cow had failed. There will be an investigation into the actions that led to this, but our focus at all times is on ensuring the safety of the public." And then it says, "I know there are videos circulating of this incident, which the public may find distressing." Yeah, you think? It's pretty damn distressing to look at, let me tell you. I would ask that these videos are sent directly to us to help with our investigation. So have you seen the video? If you haven't and you've got a moment, have a look at it. Just have a look. I mean, I'm not saying you're going to enjoy it. Of course you're not. But unless you're really, really warped and strange and perverse, you certainly will find it horrible. But tell me whether you buy this, that this was the only thing to do, it was the right thing to do. Let's discuss this with someone who knows far more about this than I do. Dominic Dyer, animal welfare campaigner and writer. Dominic, hello.
Hello there, Vanessa.
Have you seen it? Have you seen this film?
I have. I've seen a lot of it in the last hour. I think it's one of the worst cases of animal cruelty I've ever seen.
I was absolutely horrified. I was also absolutely astounded that this was considered to be the right thing to do. But tell me, in light of the fact that the police are saying that this cow was rampaging through the streets and had been for some hours, members of the public have been phoning and complaining, the cow had run into cars and damaged them. Members of the public were frightened that the cow might run into them and damage them. What ought to have happened in your view?
Well, firstly, why weren't the RSPCA involved in this? Why weren't farmers involved in this? Why weren't vets who actually can tranquilize an animal like this, for example, to bring the animal down safely? There is a real danger of a car for a young animal like this wandering the streets of any busy city. It can cause an accident. But remember, a few weeks ago, we had those horses that came out of Hyde Park and rushed down through the streets of London. Well, they were secured safely with members of the public and people that knew about horses actually getting control of them. No one was ramming them with vehicles. I think the thing that you need to really think about watching this video is that the police officers concerned in that four-wheel drive were not just trying to stop that animal, they were trying to kill that animal, because when they came back for the second time, as far as I can see, that was a clear case of trying to kill that animal to stop it.
Got to say, I was astounded that the animal wasn't dead, aren't you? They say it's in a farm and a vet's looking at it and it's just got a very bad cut on it. I mean, it looked to me as if they were effectively bulldozing the cow.
They were
with an intent of taking its life. That's what it looked like.
Yes, it did. And I think what it shows is a lack of training. And this is not an isolated incident. Just over a year ago, we had two dogs killed in Limehouse, which caused huge concern because the way the police dealt with that incident of a homeless man and his two dogs which were shot in front of people. That was the Metropolitan Police. This is the Surrey Police. But I think what we have is an ongoing problem of lack of training and awareness with the police when it comes to animals that are considered out of control, that are going to pose a danger to the public, and how they best deal with it. Why don't they bring in animal experts, people to intervene and help them? They said they tried to deal with this situation. Well, I've seen no evidence so far provided by the police that they brought experts in to help them deal with it.
Are you thinking that the better way would have been something along the lines of either corralling the animal using human manpower to sort of surround it, kind of herd it, that kind of thing, into some kind of enclosed space like a cul-de-sac, like a barn, like a car park or something like that? Or would it have been a shot with a tranquilizer dart, that kind of thing?
Well, they could do that. They can tranquilize, and animals have been tranquilized, that have got onto the streets, where we've had issues over the years with deer and other animals. So I think ultimately there were other ways to deal with it. But for some reason, the police panicked. And, you could see one parked car there watching as the other car came in and hit it twice. There has to be an independent investigation. There are a number of animal welfare charities asking for more video footage because I think they might work with the RSPCA and they might mount a private prosecution against the officers here for animal cruelty. And I think that's a legitimate situation here to be looking at, because any independent police investigation will take years. But I think we need to get to grips with this very, very quickly. Also, of course, where did the animal come from? Presumably out of some farm.
As far as you're concerned,
end up on the streets.
I can't claim to, be James Herriot. I can't claim to have worked on Emmerdale. I do listen to the Archers. What do I know about this kind of thing? But it looks to me like a calf. It looks like a young.
Yeah, it
animal.
does. It's a young animal.
Yeah.
It wasn't, as large as a bull, so it was more manageable. I wasn't there. The police having to deal with it. There were real dangers to the public, no question about it. If that went onto a busy highway, it could be extremely dangerous. Yeah. But I think in this situation, there have to be serious questions asked about the decision-making process. And this was immeasurably cruel to the animal. It might survive. I hope if it survives, actually ends up in some sanctuary. It shouldn't end up in the food chain, because that animal probably deserves a good life, bearing in mind what it's gone through. And there's a lot of people now that are probably very interested in it having a good life.
Absolutely. I mean, I found it absolutely. I couldn't believe it. Actually, I just couldn't believe it. We had to watch. I had to watch it. First of all, I tell you what really happened in the newsroom here. We saw the footage, and then we thought this is some kind of deep fake. This can't be real. And then the call started from our news desk to try to establish: is this true? Is this really happened? Have we really seen a police vehicle drive deliberately into a young calf and then do it again when the cow gets up somehow through some absolute miracle? Could this really be done in our name, and could this be done on our behalf?
It will go global. That video will now go around the world. Yeah. It will show our police force, I'm afraid, in a very bad way. So, this is going to be discussed on news programmes, probably from Australia to America in the next 24 hours, I've no doubt.
Let's talk to Carol in Swaffham, see if she feels the same. Hi, Carol. Good afternoon.
Hello, Vanessa. Thank you for taking my call.
A pleasure.
Oh, I wish I hadn't seen it now, because it's very, very unsettling.
What did you think when you saw it?
I was horrified. It made me feel sick. It upset me. I'm so angry. It should not have happened. But what got me was they didn't only hit it once. Yeah. They hit it a second time, and it was pinned under the car. And they got out of that car, and their first thought wasn't, have we killed the cow? It was to moan at somebody that had watched it and was complaining. There were enough police personnel there to calmly circle that poor animal and calmly deal with it. Because at the beginning of the film, it was standing still.
Oh, I haven't seen that bit.
It was the car that spooked it.
Is that right? Was it standing still? I didn't even know that.
Yes, it was. It was standing still, and it was the oncoming police car that spooked it.
Gosh.
And it got rammed from behind. It got flung across, yards up the road. It got to its feet, and then they hit it again, and it was pinned under the front of the car. And that's where it stayed. And they got out of that car, and they weren't worried about its safety. Have we killed it? What damage have we done? They were too busy arguing with an onlooker who was obviously complaining. It's deeply upsetting. I wish I had never seen it. It's completely upset me because it's a poor animal, for God's sake. It's frightened. There are ways to deal with animals. You use your common sense for a start off. You don't start knocking it around with a car.
I've really never seen anything like it, honestly. I thought it was fake. I just couldn't believe it.
They need suspending. Yeah. Because if any member of the public had done that to an animal, they will be arrested and prosecuted. It's just not right. The poor defenceless animal, it was frightened. But it kept it pinned. They left it pinned under the car.
It's just horrible. It really is horrible. I'm sorry you had to watch it. I wish you hadn't seen it as well. I wish you hadn't. Let's talk to Annie, who's on the line in Camberley. Annie, have you seen it?
Yes, I've watched it after you mentioned it. But years ago, I ran over a young deer by mistake. And the police came straight away. Yeah. And the first thing they did was put a coat over its head, and it immediately quietened down. I wonder why they didn't know that simple bit of first aid, whatever you call it.
Well, it's the kind of thing, I wonder if it's the sort of thing, where people lose touch with food and where it comes from. They don't, you say, where do you get an egg? They think it's the supermarket. They don't really, they don't kind of make a connection. And maybe it's kind of a lack of appreciation for animals. They've never seen any. They've never had any animals. They've never worked with them. They've never owned a pet. I don't know. Is it that kind of thing? They don't realise. They don't appreciate it's a living, breathing creature. It's a creature.
Well, maybe, but Staines is... There are hundreds of animals around Staines. It's country, as well as being a town. Mm. I just don't know why that didn't come into their head. Anyway, thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. Let's talk to Manu, who is in Hornchurch. Hi, Manu. Thanks for ringing.
Hello. Thank you. I'm first-time caller.
Pleasure. Good to talk to you.
Thank you. So I heard the news. I don't want to see the video because I love animals and animals should not be treated like this. But I just want to balance my argument with pressure on police or government officials.
Yes, sure.
Me working in NHS also, we feel pressures,
Yes.
And they wanted to sort out things. So, sad for the animal, but I wouldn't punish the police. Maybe just caution them.
And you wouldn't punish them because you feel that they were under stress, under strain. They were trying to do their best. It wasn't.
Yes, and for the society,
Right, and so you feel as if it was a kind of a mistake, but not a deliberate.
Not a crime. Not a crime. Mistake, a crime. Yes, not a crime.
Although I've had at least 2 callers already say if we had done that, we would have been arrested. If you just see a horse and you just drive your car into the back of it, you would be in trouble for that.
Yes, that's right. But if I'm pleasure driving or just commuting, that's a different thing. I should be careful. But if I'm doing, if I'm doing intentionally, then it's a different thing.
Yes, thank you very much for ringing. Let's talk to Helen. Helen in Rugeley. Hello, Helen.
Hello, Vanessa. I'm like everybody else. I did watch it. I didn't like to watch it, and I was appalled by it.
Yeah.
And it's basically just echoing what everybody else has said. It wasn't necessary. It was a calf. I was brought up on a farm. You can calm a calf. They should have done it. Like the lady said before, the calf was still. Then it moved a little bit. It was only trotting. They could have sorted it out.
If they had said to you, Helen, you grew up on a farm, get in the police car with us, please. We need your help. What should we do?
I would have done it.
What would you have done?
Absolutely, gone in there and dealt with the calf. They'd probably know how to deal with the calf better than a policeman. They do need prosecuting. They know what is wrong. They know how. They do have animal training in their police training. I know they do.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was absolutely disgusting.
But let's say you'd been there, and the cow. I mean, somebody said it was standing still at the beginning, but the one I saw, it was running down the road fast as it could. It seemed, and you're in the car with the police officers. What would you do? Jump out and try to do what?
Well, I would actually get because there was enough people around. There was enough police officers around.
Yeah.
And all you would do is just stop. You would get out of the car.
Yeah.
It was frightened, Vanessa.
I know.
So
I can see.
It doesn't want to run.
No.
So if you're calm with it, everybody stop. You just stop still. You don't drive cars. You don't ram the cars into it. Everybody stop still. The calf will stop. It will calm, and then you can deal with it, and then you can approach it, and then it will relax and it can be sorted. It was disgusting because the lady said before that they rammed it twice. They rammed it so many meters ahead. You saw it roll, feet in the air and roll.
Yes.
And still it got up, slightly wobbled. That was their chance, if you like, to calm it. But no, they're probably road traffic officers, Vanessa, right out for a day fun. Come on, let's just go for it, because it was absolutely disgusting.
And apparently the cow's still alive and has been taken to a farm and is treated by a vet. And I think that's amazing that it didn't die under that.
Absolutely, because I cannot believe it didn't. It was just luck that it didn't.